It's time to look at another Mario staple. Last time we took a look at the piranha plant, before that the fire flower, but today I'm looking at something that Mario has faced time and time again, something that, until recently, there was no defense against. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of The Science Of, where I slowly overanalyze your favourite game shows and more. Today, we're jumping back into the Mushroom Kingdom, where last time I took a look at the science of the piranha plant. Well, it was last week. So if you want to see that, click the card in the link in the corner. But today, rather than looking at any kind of foliage, we're taking a trip to the Mushroom Kingdom's many go-kart tracks, to take a look at the science behind Mario Kart to see just how deadly the blue shell could be. The blue shell, otherwise known as the spiny shell, debuted in Mario Kart on the Nintendo 64, and ever since it's been decimating racing mushrooms and Koopa kids all around the world. Throughout the series, its role has remained largely unchanged. It targets the lead racer, zooms up behind them, and takes them out in a cloud of smoke. Until Mario Kart 8, there was no way to protect against it. Now all you need to do is get a soup horn and blast it away with a puff of air. Until this point, the only way to dodge the blue shell was to use a mushroom item or any method that produces a boost at the very last minute. Today, we're going to be covering the force carried by this item when it impacts other racers and seeing just how deadly its explosion could be. When it comes to the blue shell of death, we need to figure out a few things, starting with how fast it's moving. In order to figure out the force of impact derived by our projectile, we could use the same equation as we normally would, force equals mass multiplied by the acceleration of the object. But we've used that equation quite a lot on the channel so far, so let's go with something different and use the impact force equation. This equation states that the force is equal to the mass of an object multiplied by the change in its velocity divided by the time of the impact. And given that mass multiplied by a change in velocity is the same as an object's momentum, we're going to have to work out the momentum of the blue shell to see just how deadly it is. As we always do in these videos, I'm going to tackle this logically. First, we get the mass of the kart and the driver, preferably the fastest combination of each to get the maximum possible momentum. Once we have these, we can figure out just how fast the kart moves, and finally we can calculate the time of impact. So let's see what the fastest combination is in Mario Kart. For the purpose of this video, we'll be looking at the combinations present in Mario Kart Deluxe on a Nintendo Switch, as it's the latest game in the series and therefore will give the most relevant results. The first thing we need to do is find the fastest driver, and luckily we can figure this out thanks to Mario Kart's built-in ranking system that measures 5 distinct categories for both its races and its karts: speed, acceleration, weight, handling, and finally grip. Fortunately, a lot of work has gone into figuring out which characters belong to which group, and they have been put into useful charts like this one. From here, you can see the fastest characters are Wario, Dry Bowser, Bowser, and for some reason the Koopa Kid Morton. After this we need to select a body, where we can choose between the Circuit Special, Badwagon, Mercedes GLA, and B-Dasher. For tyres, we've got the option of Slick, Metal, Cyber Slick, and Gold. And finally, we need to choose a glider. In all honesty, the glider basically has no impact on the speed of the kart. Any combination of these items put together will reach the maximum Mario Kart speed of 5.75, but this isn't a standardized unit, so we can't use it in our calculations. But now that we have our fastest kart, we can go into the game to do some field work to get our velocities. For the purpose of this video, let's use the combination of Dry Bowser driving the Badwagon with Slick Wheels and the Hylian glider. Fortunately, when working out our go-kart velocities, we can use one of the methods used back in our video on the science of Sonic the Hedgehog. Throughout Mario Kart 8, there are road markings all over the tracks, and we can use standardized measurements for these markings to work out the distance the karts travel over the course of a second at top speed. For the purpose of this video, we'll be using Toad Harbor, a track introduced in Mario Kart 8 that involves racers travelling around a track that's inspired by a range of American cities. It features a steep cable car hill similar to those found in San Francisco, and a statue of Princess Peach in the harbour that obviously takes inspiration from the Statue of Liberty in New York. If we take San Francisco as a basis for the road markings in Toad Harbor, then we can find that the road markings are roughly 3 meters long, with the gap between the markings being another 3 meters. Given that our kart combination can pass roughly 4 of these groups over the course of a second, we can calculate that their maximum velocity will be somewhere between 21 and 24 meters per second. This is within the realm of real 150cc go-karts, which can manage speeds in the region of 40 to 50 miles per hour or around 17 to 22 meters per second. So now that we have the velocities for our go-karts, we just need to work out how heavy they are in order to give us their momentum. We have a general idea of their weights from the charts mentioned earlier. Dry Bowser has a weight of 4.75 units, which is kind of weird given that he's got the same mass as regular Bowser, who's still got, well, a body. The Bad Wagon has a mass of 0.5 units, the Slick Wheels have a mass of 0.25 units, and the Hylian Kite has a mass that's negligible. This means that our total mass is 5.5 units, but we have no idea what these units are, and in all honesty, they're not exactly great measurements of mass, with items such as the standard tyres having a mass of 0. The term weight in this case appears to be more a measurement of size rather than of actual mass. In order to find the actual masses, we need to go into the game's code to find the masses Nintendo supplied. Inside the games, we find more representative statistics used for each kart part and driver, measuring their weight, acceleration, on-road traction, off-road traction, mini-turbo, ground speed, water speed, anti-gravity speed, air speed, ground handling, water handling, anti-gravity handling, and finally air handling. The weight stats tend to be taken into account when programming the impact of vehicle interactions, so they're perfect for the purpose of this video. For our specific combination of components, we find that the Bad Wagon has a weight stat of 4, the Slick Wheels have a weight stat of 3, the Hylian Kite has a weight stat of 1, and finally Dry Bowser has a weight stat of 9, actually making him lighter than regular Bowser. This gives our kart a total mass of 17 units of mass. But what are these 17 units equal to? Well, let's look for an item we can compare to the real world and go from there. The standard tyres found in the game have a weight stat of 2. Normally, these wheels have different masses in order to maintain a proper balance of the kart, but for the purpose of this video, we'll ignore that and say that all 4 wheels weigh the same. Now, these aren't just any kind of go-kart wheels, these are professional quality Mushroom Kingdom tyres and rims. I guess that the tyres are going to weigh somewhere within the region of 2.15 kilograms per tyre and 770 or 0.77 kilograms per rim. Multiply both of these by 4 and we get a total mass of 11.63 kilograms. We divide this by 2 and this tells us that one weight stat is equal to 5.8 kilograms. We multiply 5.8 by 17 total units of mass to give us a total mass of 98.6 kilograms, with the kart weighing only 46 kilograms and Dry Bowser weighing over 52 kilograms. Now this is pretty light for a go-kart, which would normally weigh between 75 and 79 kilograms. Okay, so now we have a mass and a velocity, we can work out the momentum our kart combination is moving at before its sudden stop. To get our momentum, we multiply 98.6 kilograms by our velocity of 24 meters per second, which gives us a momentum of 2,366.4 kilogram meters per second. In order to transform this into our impact force, all we need to do is divide this by our total time of impact. This is the time from when the blue shell is right above the kart to the time that it crashes into Dry Bowser's face. Looking at the in-game footage, we find that the impact of the blue shell lasts 4 frames. We can divide these 4 frames by 60 frames per second, which gives us a total time of 0.06 seconds. We divide our momentum of 2,366 kilogram meters per second by our impact duration of 0.06 seconds to give us an impact force of 39,433 newtons. This force is equal to 3,943 kilograms hitting poor Dry Bowser head on. Now, as you can probably imagine, being hit in the face with 2.5 Ford Tauruses isn't going to end well, with Dry Bowser resembling nothing more than a pile of dust by the end of it. But that's not exactly the end of it. You see, this is the force that would be applied if the shell were to smash into Dry Bowser head on, but that's not the case. In Mario Kart, the blue shell doesn't hit the driver head on, but instead at a 60-degree angle. When you increase the angle of an impact, it's going to increase the force, given that you're going to add gravitational acceleration into the equation. In order to do this, we need to do a quick bit of trigonometry. What we have at the moment is a triangle with one 60-degree angle, one 90-degree angle, and all angles on a triangle equal 180 degrees, so the final angle is 30 degrees. Using this triangle, we find that the force ploughing into the racer's face is a whopping 45,533 newtons, 2 rhinos smashing their way through the karts throughout the Mushroom Kingdoms. So now we know how much force is slamming into our racers' faces. All that's left is to figure out how powerful the explosion is that's coming from the shell right after it makes contact. In order to get the explosion size, we need to measure out the energy involved in our impact. Now, there are a lot of equations involved in figuring out explosions, but the easiest way is to find the kinetic energy. The total system's kinetic energy is explosion potential energy, so we can divide this energy by time to get how powerful our explosion is. Our go-kart's kinetic energy is equal to the mass, 52 kilograms, multiplied by our velocity, 23 meters per second squared. Divide all this by 2 and we get a kinetic energy of 13,754 joules of energy. But energy doesn't mean anything without a proper timescale to measure it by. In essence, it's never accurate to leave it at a number of joules, as the produced reaction could last days, weeks, months, or even years. It's more accurate to use power, as this is the amount of energy that could be released at any moment. The impact lasts 0.06 seconds, so from that we can work out our explosion to be about 229.223 kilowatts of power. These 229 kilowatts are equal to 197 kilograms of TNT. Now, I don't know if you've ever decided to place down 197 blocks of TNT in Minecraft to see what happens, but let me tell you, the damage is going to be pretty damn severe. According to the United Nations Blaze Safeguard site, an explosion with this much energy will be felt up to 450 meters away. Not only that, but racers up to 55 meters away from the blast will rupture their eardrums. Racers only 20 meters away will experience lung damage, and individuals below 50 meters of the blue shell will be decimated, just gone without any warning. And this isn't even mentioning the damage to the local area. Windows will smash if they're as far away as 550 meters from the impact, and don't forget about the towed homes, with buildings up to 11 meters away being completely demolished, and even buildings being 50 meters away being uninhabitable. So say goodbye to Toad Harbour, because whenever one of these shells goes off, the entire area would be decimated, leaving hundreds of homeless toads. So there we go. Turns out the blue shell is incredibly dangerous, but we do have to keep a couple of things in mind. Firstly, this value is the maximum possible power for the impact, meaning that no energy is being lost in the form of heat, light, sound, or even through the shell smashing on impact. But despite that, we have a phenomenal amount of power behind our small spiny shell. Maybe I should look into some other Mario Kart items to see if they're as dangerous as advertised. Could the banana peel secretly be even more deadly? Join me in another video to find out. As always, if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to help combat the ever-changing and frustrating YouTube algorithm, then make sure you share the video to help my channel grow. If you have a particular scientific subject or topic that you'd like to see me cover in the future, then please tell me in the comments down below. As well as that, follow me on Twitter to get updates on the latest science of videos, and join my Discord for chats about science, gaming and more. But until then, this has been the Science of Mario Kart. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you're looking for more game-based content, then you can join me over on Twitch, where I live stream 3 times a week, playing all manner of games suggested by the community. Or if you want to support the channel even further, you could also contribute to my Patreon, where you'll get behind the scenes access to the creation of all videos, as well as access to my private Minecraft server.